Here I have my friend Mr. Mushy, and he is going to be my opponent, and I'll put him there. I will be also playing for Mr. Mushy to help people get an idea of how you play. But overall, you shuffle your cards, and in this case, because we're playing with a two-player deck, we are going to do 5 cards per hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. We each have our 5 cards. Then, when you start your round, you flip a random bonus card. This one is Weird and Wondrous. 1 point per mushroom that does not target the liver, brain, or kidney. Now, I'm going to go ahead and look at my cards. So the first thing I have is a Fool's Funnel. This is a muscarine-containing mushroom. I can see that atropine, if I get that card, will add 2 points. And there's a total of 3 cards in the deck. And this one does not target the liver, brain, or kidney. So I would actually get an extra point for the card this round. My next option is the Fool's Webcap. Now, this is the deadly quartz cousin. If you know about this mushroom, it causes very late kidney toxicity. So the earlier you play it, the more time for damage to build up. If I play it right now, since there are 5 turns in this round, and I get 1 point per turn for 1 round, I'll get 5 points. If I play it in a different turn, I'm going to get less points. Here I have the green flush fiber cap. This is a psilocybe-containing mushroom. Psilocybin is different because you don't count any points for it until the end of the game. Whoever has the most psilocybin at the end of the game is going to get 10 points, and whoever has the least is going to get -5. Now, there's an interesting game mechanic here. Psilocybin is being explored in its use for depression, and it's been shown to increase feelings of gratitude. So if you eat 2 of these, if you have them out, you can value your next mushroom card twice as much, be more grateful for it, and double the point value of that mushroom when it's played. This is a great one to pick when you're not sure what to do because it'll get you into the psilocybe race and help prevent you from losing points at the end of the game. Then I have the ink cap. The ink cap is a disulfiram mushroom. It causes a reaction with alcohol. So you can see here, it's worth only 1 point. But if I get the alcohol modifier, I'll have +3. So one to think about. This one would also give me an extra bonus point. And then finally, I have the giant false morale. This one, now kind of interesting scoring. It's worth 0 if you just have it. If you try to cook it with fire or a pan, it becomes worth -1. And if you grab it with a morel, when morels and false morels get mixed up, you accidentally eat a false morel, so -3. So this would be worth 0 right now, but if I get the antidote pyridoxine, it'll be worth 6 points. So overall, I've got a lot of good options, but because I don't know what I'm getting in my next hand, I'm going to go ahead and choose the Fool's Webcap, which is worth 5 points this round, and that's pretty good. So then I'm going to lay it down, and we'll keep moving. Now my partner or my opponent would be doing the same thing. So let's look through their hand. Okay, they have a false morel. Excellent. We talked about that. They have alcohol, the modifier for disulfiram. So they could put that down. They've got an alenic norleucine-containing mushroom. These historically cause early GI toxicity, but then late kidney failure. So there's 4 of them in the deck, and the more I collect, the more points I'll get. And if I get 3 of them, I'm going to wind up with a bonus of 3 points the next round. And that is because that's the delayed toxicity kicker. You get next round bonuses. Then I have a morel, which is a pretty good card. Unfortunately, without a pan or a fire, you have to eat it raw, and it's -3 because raw morels are toxic. With a fire or a pan, it's worth 2, and with both, you can cook a delicious morel and get 10 points. Well, I'm going to have to make some decisions here soon. I have a death cap. This, as we know, we just looked at, is one of the most famous mushrooms, so it's worth quite a lot. Now, amatoxins famously cause late toxicity. It's one of the ways that we diagnose it. So because this would cause late toxicity, you don't get points until the next round, which makes it not valuable at all at the very end of the game. So the Death Cap is a great card. You get a ton of points for it. I'm going to go ahead and snag that one for my mushroom friend, and we'll put it down there. Now, we both laid our cards down, so we switch hands, which means I am now choosing from what's left in my opponent's hand. And here we go. I see a false morel, alcohol, an Amanita abrupta. We already talked about all these in the morel. Well, I know that there is a +1, a coprine in the other hand. So I'm going to steal alcohol right now so that I can try to get that extra bonus from my Inky Cap. Now my opponent's doing the same thing. He's looking at this. He knows there's an ink cap. He might try to steal that in case the alcohol comes back to him. But there's also psilocybin, a fool's funnel in this. And in fact, if I were playing, knowing there's an alcohol in the other hand, I would take the ink cap. So here we go. Now we flip. And he has stolen the ink cap and I have the alcohol. He's going to get +1 and I won't. And then we do hands again. So I see I've got psilocybin, a fool's funnel. I'm going to go with the fool's funnel this round because I think I'm going to get more of them as we keep playing the game. And our opponent here, he is going to choose probably a abrupt bulb Amanita because the morels and the false morels, we know they don't play nice together. So I don't think I would choose one yet. Then we switch hands again. Okay, now it's my turn. I know that I either need to choose a black morel or a false morel. I know the only one that won't give me negative points is the false morel, so I'm going to go that way. And that means I'm throwing the morel at him, and he's going to have to take it. Now he has to choose between a psilocybe or a giant false morel. Not knowing what my opponent was going to give me, I would probably end up taking the psilocybe and giving the false morel over here. So now, that's how we end up. So this is the end of a round. You play rounds until you're out of an even amount of cards that can be dealt to everyone. So let's tally up our points. For my first round, I got 0 points for my false morels. I got a fool's funnel, which is going to be worth 1 point. I have disulfiram, or I have alcohol, but no disulfiram cards. But I know that this works for 3 cards. 1 has already been played, but 2 more are in the deck. So I might get one later. And then I have my deadly court, which I played the very first turn, so I'm going to get 5 points for it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns worth of coordinaries. That's 5 points. +1 is 6 points. Then you're going to want to count your bonuses. Any mushroom that does not target the liver, brain, or kidney. So I have 1 point for my fool's funnel, and everything else is out the door. So that brings my total for this round to 6 points. If we look at my opponent, let's go ahead and flip these cards so we can all see them. He wound up with this. So he has 1 point for his ink cap mushroom, 2 points for his Norlucine mushroom, none for his psilocybin, but that helps him for the end of the game. And then he has a morel, which without a pan and a fire, that's actually worth -3 points. So right now he's sitting at 3 minus 3 is 0 points. However, he also has a death cap mushroom. So the death cap, when you play it, you need to remove 1 mushroom that you played that turn. In this case, this is actually a boon because I'm going to get to cover my morel and not lose points. So my death cap next turn will get me +10. So right now I have 3 total points. It is 3 to 6. And let's play our next round. So you deal out 5 cards again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the round continues. Now in the second round, and every round after the first, whoever is in last place chooses 2 bonus cards and they get to choose from them. So my first card says Brownout, 1 point per mushroom with a brown spore print. And my second card is Coasty, 1 point per mushroom found on only one U.S. coast. So let's see what Mr. Mushroom's cards say. Now these bonuses, rules as written, apply only to the cards that are played this turn. But one of my favorite variants of this game is to apply your bonuses to all cards on your field. It really helps add up points and it helps you get to know more mushrooms. But when you're just starting out, I would recommend just taking time to learn the scoring systems and not worrying too much about that. So here's his cards. N-acetylcysteine, a modifier for hepatotoxic mushrooms. A yellow knight, which doesn't have any coast, so that doesn't help me. It also doesn't have a brown spore print, so I won't get any extras. A lurid bolete, which is found on all coasts, but it does have a brown spore print. And this one has the alcohol modifier. So I've already started collecting. Now you might say, well, wait, Ryan, you have the alcohol, so he's not going to get it. Except you can look right here. It says there are 2 alcohol modifiers in the deck. So he knows there's hope. It might be worth trying to take this mushroom. The other things that he has is a giant false morel, a Carolina false morel, and activated charcoal, which is always fun. Whoever gets this one is going to end up having to cover one of their mushrooms at the end of the game, at the end of the round. So knowing that, I think Brownout is probably the best option for them, and they're going to go with this. So now we go through our choosing the mushroom that we want to pick. So for this person, Knack would give me a bonus on top of my death cap. And there are 15 other mushrooms in the game that it could help me get points for. So I think choosing Knack is honestly a pretty good early round choice. And I'm going to go with that. And then for my cards that I have, so let's look. I have a psilocybin, oh boy, and 3 destroying angels. 1, 2, 3. Now, I also have the fly agaric, the yellow variant, Vargesoe. Now, ibotenic acid, some people take this mushroom and feel okay, but as soon as you have more of them, you're pretty quickly going to wind up in the ICU with seizures or sedation. So 1 is worth 7, but more are worth minus points. So taking one early in the game with only 2 players is kind of risky because you're likely to wind up with more, but it still is a pretty good card. Psilocybin, my spore prints here are all white or pink, so it doesn't really matter. I'm actually going to start off with the Destroying Angel. These Destroying Angels, there's 6 of them in the deck, and the more you get, up to 4, you get additional points. They can really become powerful modifiers. They're all these stark, beautiful white mushrooms, but overall, they're usually a good strategy. So I'm going to go with 1 Destroying Angel. Unlike the other amatoxins, these ones get you points right away. You don't have to wait for the next round. It's just because they're slightly different. They're the same toxin, but they're an interesting class, so I did something to differentiate them. So I'm choosing those, and then we'll switch hands. Okay, so he has actually passed to me a lurid bolete, a yellow knight, a false morel, and activated charcoal. Yellow knights, Tricholoma equestre. These cause toxicity after repeated exposure. So if you have just 1 of them, nothing happens. But 2 is +3, and if you've eaten 3 of them, +9. So these can really add up when you're collecting them. Taking 1 early is never a bad idea. But because I have the lurid bolete, which causes a disulfiram reaction with alcohol, and I have alcohol, I'm going to lay that down, and we'll keep moving. Now my opponent has the option of a fly agaric or a destroying angel or psilocybin. He's already got 1 psilocybin. Probably better to start taking some mushrooms that are going to complement his other mushrooms. And destroying angels are hepatotoxic. So he just took Knack, So he's going to end up getting bonus points. He would go with that. Then we switch hands again. And now he's back to these original 3. And I am back to my originals. Well, seeing I have another Destroying Angel in the batch, I'm going to go ahead and grab that one. And we'll keep going through. He's got his options here. A Yellow Knight is never a bad idea, but he actually lost his morale, so he might actually start taking this false morale in the hopes that he gets B6. And he's going to pass these over to me, and I'm going to go there. So I'm going to end up taking the Yellow Knight as my last card and then give him Charcoal. This is a hot potato card. You never want Charcoal. You have to cover one of your last cards. But he is going to end up choosing the Yellow Fly Agaric and then give me Psilocybin. So if that makes sense, I know it's confusing because I'm passing back and forth between myself, but this is how 2 rounds would look. You have all your cards, all the cards you played previously still apply. So, for example, let's count out his points. He has N-acetylcysteine, which is +1 for hepatotoxic mushroom. He had 1 hepatotoxic mushroom last round, so he'll get a point for that. And he has 1 hepatotoxic mushroom this round, so that's 2 points. Now, he's also got 1 Destroying Angel, which is another 2 points. A Carolina False Morale, which is currently worth 0, and a Fly Agaric, which is worth 7. So in total, he's got 9 points. But he has to cover up 1 of his mushrooms this turn. And interestingly, I would probably cover this Destroying Angel because there's a good chance he could get B6 and get 7 points for this False Morale. So that's going to leave him with 1 point for his Death Cap, 7 points for his Fly Agaric. But remember, most amatoxins go into effect the next round. So this one is going to activate, and now he's got 10 points from his amatoxin. That gives him 17 for the round. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Thank you very much. Now over here on my side, I've got 2 Destroying Angels. The first one was only worth 2, but now that I have the second one, that one's worth 4. That gives me 6 points total. I've got a Lurid Bolete, and since I already have the alcohol, this one is going to be worth 4 points total. So that's 10. And then I have a Yellow Knight and a Psilocybin, which aren't worth anything right now, but they're coming into effect. Finally, 1 point per mushroom with a brown spore print. My Lurid Bolete has a brown spore print, as you can see, so I'll get an additional 1 point. So last round, I had 6 points plus 11. That brings me to 17. We would deal 5 more cards. I would choose a bonus because I'm in last place. In this scenario, 1 point per Psilocybin or 1 point per mushroom with late toxicity, which would be something with a tortoise on the card, late toxicity. And I would look at my cards first and say, I've got a lot of Psilocybin in this hand. Those are my purple friends. I think I'm going to go with Psilocybin so I can get a free point. Another scoring system I want to teach you about are the emetic mushrooms. Emetics are the most common mushroom in the game, and they're the most common poisoning in real life. So it's a race throughout the game. Whoever gets to 12 ounces of emetic mushrooms first is going to get 12 points right away. This one isn't, you don't wait till you're done with the round to score this. You do it right away. Because sometimes 2 people can win on the same turn, and then you split the points. So, in this case, I've got a Feckled Dapperling. This is one where alcohol is a modifier, and I've got alcohol. That's a good one to take. I've got Psilocybin, which is always a good one, and I could maybe get +1 per Psilocybin this round. Might be worth taking. A Tender Nesting Polypore. This is a really funky mushroom, causes ultramental status and acidosis. This one, nothing too special, just 4 points. And then I have a couple of emetic mushrooms. So you can see there's 16 emetic mushroom cards in the game. These ones are big ounces. They have different ounces. So 4 ounces versus 3 ounces. If I was going to take one, I would do a jack-o'-lantern. But I think, actually, he hasn't even started. So yeah, I will go jack-o'-lantern. And then you just keep laying your cards down. I recommend laying them in order and in a row so you can keep track. And our opponent, he's going to do the same thing. I'll make a little room here. Here we go. He's got, oh boy, a Smith's Amanita. This is a Norlucine containing one, which would match with his other Smith's Amanita. You can see they're the same color, same scoring class. So if he laid this down, he would get 3 points and be closer to finishing. He's got a little white mushroom. This is a crazy mushroom that causes sudden death in China via cardiac arrest. This one is very rare, 5 points. That's all you get. There's only one in the game. He's got an emetic, the jack-o'-lantern, which you could take, and this one's worth 4 points, and a psilocybin. Since he's already kind of crushing the psilocybin, oh, and then he has multi-dose activated charcoal. This is one of the antidotes for amatoxin-containing mushrooms, of which there's 12 in the game, and you can see each one. Destroying Angels, Death Cap, Funeral Bell. It lists the name of each one that it adds for. He's got one Destroying Angel, and he's got Knack. He's going to build his engine and take multi-dose activated charcoal. Oops, sorry, this would go down here. Okay, then we'll switch cards. So over here, I say, oh, whoa, look at my cards. I see another jack-o'-lantern. That's really helpful. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to start shooting for that emetic race and see if I can get there. His cards that he's getting, he sees psilocybin, a false parasol, a tender nesting polypore, and this guy's worth 4 points, a bird in the hand. He's going to take it. And we switch again. So now we're back to our original cards. I'm left with a false parasol, a feckled dapperling, and a bluefoot. I'm going to take my 4-point feckled dapperling. He's going to take his little white mushroom, which is worth 5. He's taking the one-offs. We'll switch hands again. I'm now left with a Smith's Amanita or a Japanese psilocybin. I don't have any Amanita, so I don't want it. I'll take the psilocybin and start building up my deck. And then I'm giving him the Smith's Amanita. He's got no choice. And he's going to take, seeing that the psilocybin is starting to go, another psilocybin, and give me a false parasol. So if we look at points this round, I've got nothing, but I'm getting there. Sorry about the card mess. Make sure you have room on your table. This is a pretty tight frame on the camera. But I've got 11 of my 12 ounces of emetics, so next round I'll probably hit that, plus 4 points of my feckled dapperling and a psilocybin. So I only got 4 points this round, plus my psilocybin for 5. That brings me to 23, but I'm set up really well for the next round. And for him, he got a multi-dose activated charcoal, which gives him 1 point because he has a death cap. Plus, he took some really good one-offs. That'll give him 10 points. And he's got his second Norlucine. So he's got a total of 13 points this round. So the score for this round would end up being 34 to 23. But you can have big swings overall. We're currently tied for psilocybin. So there's only one left in the deck, in this 2-person deck. So whoever gets the next one is going to get 10 points. You could see how it all starts to work out that way. I hope you had fun watching the game mechanics. There are so many different ways to play. Check out the rule variations. And when you're just starting out, I recommend using a smaller hand count so you can learn the cards. The way the cards score even changes with how many cards are in your hand and how many rounds you play. It can really change the dynamics of the game. So try a bunch of different player counts, a bunch of different card counts, and a bunch of different rounds to see which one you like the best. Can't wait for you to get your copy of Gotta Pick'em. When you're playing, please snap a picture, send it to me. I would love nothing more to see you having fun with your first round of Poisonous Mushroom card games. Okay, stay safe out there.